ESPN has their football percentage index, the FPI that they call it, and they've updated their projections for LSU in 2020. So if you're not familiar, FPI basically takes a whole bunch of different metrics like returning players, recruiting classes, stats, returning production, etc. They use it, and then they simulate the season thousands of times, and blah, they spit out results. And sometimes it works out well, and sometimes it doesn't. Like in 2018, FPI had LSU going 5-7. That didn't really work out so well. They went 9-3 and wound up winning the Fiesta Bowl to finish 10-3. So sometimes, strikes and gutters. So FPI has updated their season prediction for LSU's 2020 season. So they've got right now LSU as the 6th best team in college football. Their projected win-loss is 9.6 wins and 2.6 losses. So somewhere, like where Vegas has them, in between 9-3 or 10-2, does that 9.6, which side of the curve does that fall to? Only a 1.9% chance of going undefeated and a 13.9% chance of winning the SEC. They also rank LSU's schedule as the 4th most difficult in college football this year. So when you look game by game, the projections are not altogether surprising, but there are some interesting tidbits. So, like, for example, LSU's got a 99.3% chance of beating Texas San Antonio September 5th, obviously. LSU's got a 70% chance of beating Texas, 97.6% chance of beating Rice. When you get into the conference games, 91.7% chance of beating Ole Miss should not be that. I mean, that projects obviously is not a great year one for the Lane Train. At Florida is interesting because that's a game where I think LSU is going to be an underdog when they go to the Swamp. But FPI gives LSU a better than 50-50 shot of beating Florida. 54.4% chance of winning in the Swamp. Clearly, they think Arkansas is going to be poo-poo as LSU on the road in Arkansas. Sam Pittman's first season, they give LSU a 91.4% chance of beating Arkansas in Fayetteville. 96% chance of LSU beating Mississippi State in Baton Rouge. So essentially, they're not seeing much movement at all, FPI, from the first-year coaches in the SEC. From Sam Pittman at Arkansas, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and Mike Leach at Mississippi State, thinking they're all going to be poo-poo in year one. The Alabama game, that's concerning. LSU just a 42% chance of beating Alabama in Baton Rouge this year. I actually think that game is going to end up being closer to a pick'em when it comes time to actually play the game on November the 7th in Tiger Stadium. I think that's what Vegas will ultimately show, and I think LSU has a fantastic chance of winning that game outright. But like we've talked about, that stretch in November is going to make or break LSU season. And when you look at the metrics, it kind of looks like that. So you'll start with Bama, where you've got a 42% chance of winning that game. Then you play South Carolina, where LSU's got a 92% chance. So that's, of the four, the probability is the greatest with South Carolina. But then you're on the road back-to-back weeks at Auburn and at Texas A&M. Coin flip against Auburn, 50%. And then at A&M, LSU has a 62% chance of winning in College Station. On paper, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. The biggest question I have is when LSU gets to November 21st at Auburn, November 21st at A&M, how much gas do you have left in the tank? When you've played 4 consecutive conference games and you finish the season at Auburn, at A&M, and when at Auburn is going to be a slobber knocker like it always is, and then you have to, a week later, go on the road again to College Station, how does that look? That, for me, is going to be the most interesting part of the season for LSU, is what does November look like? It is worth noting, though, and this is the thing that, for me, is most encouraging about that A&M game. LSU has to go to A&M the week after playing Auburn, but the week before playing LSU, A&M is on the road at Bama. So they've got to go on the road to Tuscaloosa before hosting LSU. So it would be much more concerning if A&M had a layup the week before playing LSU. but they've got arguably the toughest game on the schedule, having to go to Tuscaloosa the week before LSU goes to College Station. So November is going to be fascinating however it plays out, but FPI likes LSU, gives them a better than 50% chance of winning every game on the schedule except Bama, but still projects LSU as a 9-3 team. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.